right, live. Give it a sec to catch up. Laptop's a little bit old, just like me. So today's topic, really simple, is keep it simple. Now, why? Because this morning I woke up and I got a ton going on. I'm dabbling back in the conservation world. The potential of working with elephant and lion and all sorts of stuff has got me excited beyond belief. But what happens when I get that energy pull is I go off into a direction, and all other stuff like coaching, being a dad, which are my most important priorities in life, start to suffer a little bit. And I started to get overwhelmed about what do I do? How do I do it? Until that beautiful tool inside me stopped me. And I was able to say, there's reality, and then there's what my mind tells me. So that is the gift of my daily routine, and the tools that I've taught myself is this ability to just stop in that moment and go, hang on, what is real? And what is my mind telling me is real? Because, and this is a hard concept for people to grasp, they're so convinced and so utterly in this belief that what goes on inside their head, thoughts that go on, are real. And the truth is, when you start to learn to unravel that, they're not. And you have to remember that the thoughts with this little picture behind me that you have, they create the feelings. Feelings are a chemical reaction. Okay, you don't just feel something. It's not just some magic. It's science. It's a chemical reaction which is triggered by your thoughts. So if you start to learn to observe the thoughts, you start to understand what feelings are being created. So if you're stuck in anxiety, if you're stuck in depression, if you're stuck with any other mental disorder that they've labeled you with, which I've been labeled with myself, understand that your thoughts around them are actually a perpetuating cycle, and that you are feeding back into them. So this simple thing I'm saying right here, this keep it simple, is the very core and the very root of any change in a human being's life. Because once you start to become aware of the fact that your mind is not always your best friend, that your mind will make decisions for you based on what happened yesterday, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, what happened to you when you were a year old, that is what the human mind is designed for. It is a computer. It will sometimes play faulty programs. But the beautiful thing in the keep it simple part is that you can change them every single day. If you spend 15, 20 minutes in 90 days, I'm going to go a little bit long. It can happen in 30 days, but let's say 90 days, you can start to change them. These are just like worn pathways in the bush. You've just got to step off the pathway and start to create a new one. And you can do that at the start of each and every single day. It's that simple. Okay, so my Friday today was going to be hectic and crazy, and I've got meetings about men's groups that I'm going to start creating. And I really want to do this work with these guys who are opening up this incredible conservation field all through Southern Africa, which is my expertise. And it was just over, and it was big, and I felt incredible. But the problem was, it was starting to take away from what is real. What is the priority? I'm still a dad. I've got an 11-month-old little boy who needs me, and that is my number one priority. I'm not going to shift and take away from that. I'm not going to let, like some people do, work override my number one job, which is to be a parent, a stable, calm, and happy parent. Because if I'm those three things, then that's what my son will be. Because anyone who may have watched any of my previous work, what I am is what my kids will mirror. They don't do as I tell them to, they do as I do. So that is my number one priority. So just keep it simple. I don't need to go on and on about it because I'll just repeat myself. You need to understand that at some point, if you really want to get better than, if you want to grow, if you want to overcome, if you want to deal with a challenge, you want to look at the list I've written here and deal with a divorce, deal with grief, loss of a loved one, separated from your kids like I am, any of these things, you can choose to remain a victim to any of them, or you can start to choose to be aware of what your mind says versus what is real. It is that simple. The tools to work through this are simple. You've just got to do them every day. Once you get through that first 30 days, you don't have to do them every day. And this is the beautiful part of it. Depending on the level of commitment and the level of work you put in, within 90 days, you might do it once a week. But you'll find yourself doing it more, because what it does is it opens up your perspective and changes the way you see the entire world. And that is the joy of anyone on this personal development journey. When you get it right, when the ego starts to slip away, is you get gifted with a fresh set of eyes. You're almost like a child again, but with that beautiful experience that you've had during your life. So we always talk about, as we get older, I wish I was young again. Well, I am at 48 years old, still a 6-year-old, still a 15-year-old, and still a 20-year-old. Now, at 6, I was abducted. In my teens, I was a criminal. In my 20s, I was an addict. So for me to be able to go back to those places with a smile on my face tells you the success of the work that I do. And the reason it works is because it's simple. I'm not actually here selling anything. Kind of might sound like that. The truth is, what I'm doing is I've got 48 years of incredible experience that you can't buy in any book. And so I'm trying to learn how to hone my craft and share it with people so that maybe someone out there who's feeling hopeless, uninspired, lost, confused, or just wants to make massive change really quickly because they know their potential is sitting there right in front of them and they can't reach it, to start asking questions of people like me. That's what coaches are for, and that's what we're good at. Yeah. Thanks for listening. I'll be back again tomorrow, maybe.